Hollywood has always sold the dream of perfection. Under bright lights, beauty, talent, and confidence can look effortless. But behind that image, many people were forced to carry a painful secret: the fear that their authentic selves would not be accepted. For transgender women in entertainment, that pressure was often heavier than fame itself. They faced rejection from families, closed doors in the industry, public misunderstanding, and the quiet loneliness of being seen, yet not fully known. The 7 women in this story did not simply chase success. They fought for dignity, visibility, and inner peace. Their journeys remind us that the most powerful transformation is not what the world sees on the outside, but the courage it takes to live truthfully. And that courage begins with Erin Rose Phillip. Erin Rose Phillip was born in Antigua and moved to New York as a young child. Living with cerebral palsy, she spent much of her childhood in a wheelchair while navigating a world that often overlooked people with disabilities. As she grew older, she also began to understand her gender identity. Those experiences created a deep sense of isolation, one shaped by both physical and social barriers. Many people assumed Erin's future would be limited. The fashion industry rarely embraced transgender women, and opportunities for models with disabilities were even scarcer. Yet she refused to accept those expectations. At 14, she publicly shared her identity online. She continued building confidence and visibility until a major breakthrough arrived in 2018, when she signed with Elite Model Management. The achievement made headlines and challenged assumptions about who could belong in high fashion. As her profile grew, she appeared in leading publications and worked with major brands. Through it all, Erin remained focused on something larger than personal success. She wanted young people facing similar struggles to know they were not alone. Today, Erin's story represents courage, perseverance, and hope. By embracing her authentic self, she opened doors for others who had rarely seen themselves represented in fashion. Her journey proves that barriers can be challenged when determination meets opportunity. While Erin found purpose through modeling and advocacy, T.S. Madison was preparing to reshape the landscape of entertainment itself. T.S. Madison grew up in Miami, Florida, in an environment that offered little understanding of transgender identities. From an early age, she knew she was different. Yet expressing her authentic self often brought criticism rather than acceptance. As she entered adulthood, finding stable employment became difficult. More than once, she lost opportunities simply because of who she was. A painful reminder of the societal pressure many transgender women faced. Instead of retreating, Madison searched for ways to create her own future. She entered entertainment and eventually launched her own production company. For years, she worked outside traditional media, building an audience through determination and creativity. A viral video in 2013 introduced her humor and personality to millions of people. Suddenly, doors that had long been closed began to open. Yet success did not erase the challenges she had endured. Madison understood how rare visibility was for Black transgender women. She continued pushing forward, appearing on major television programs, and expanding her influence. In 2021, she made history as the first Black transgender woman to both produce and star in her own reality television series. Today, T.S. Madison is recognized not only as an entertainer, but also as a trailblazer. Her career demonstrates how resilience can transform rejection into opportunity. By refusing to hide her authentic self, she helped create space for others to be seen and heard. While Madison was breaking barriers in media and popular culture, Janet Mock was preparing to change how stories about transgender lives were told in mainstream America. Janet Mock was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and spent much of her early life facing financial instability. While many people around her struggled to understand her identity, she carried a quiet determination to live as her authentic self. During her teenage years, she began taking important steps toward that goal. Still, the path ahead seemed uncertain, especially for a young transgender woman with limited resources. Rather than allowing those obstacles to define her future, Janet focused on education and personal growth. She eventually earned a master's degree in journalism from New York University and built a successful media career. Yet one of her most difficult decisions remained ahead. In 2011, she publicly shared her story, placing herself in the national spotlight at a time when transgender representation was still limited. The risk was significant. Public attention can bring criticism as easily as support. Instead, her honesty resonated with countless readers. Her memoir, Redefining Realness, became a bestseller and introduced many Americans to a perspective they had rarely encountered. As her influence grew, she expanded into television, helping shape more authentic portrayals of transgender lives. Today, Janet Mock is recognized as a writer, producer, and advocate whose work has changed conversations across media and culture. Her success showed that personal truth can become a source of strength rather than fear. By telling her own story, she helped others feel seen. While Janet was transforming representation through journalism and television, Dominique Jackson was fighting for survival before becoming a powerful voice within an entirely different community. Dominique Jackson was born in Trinidad and Tobago and faced hardship from an early age. Growing up, she often encountered rejection and instability while trying to understand her identity. By her teenage years, circumstances forced her to leave behind the life she had known. Arriving in New York brought new opportunities, but it also brought loneliness, uncertainty, and periods of homelessness. Challenges that tested her strength every day. Life in New York was far from easy. Dominique struggled to survive while searching for acceptance in a society that frequently marginalized transgender women. Eventually, she found support within the ballroom community, a cultural space where many LGBTQ+ people created families of their own. There, she developed confidence, purpose, and a sense of belonging. Her presence, elegance, and leadership earned respect throughout the community. Years later, mainstream audiences came to know her through her memorable role as Electra Abundance in Pose. The character introduced millions of viewers to stories that had often been overlooked. For Dominique, the role represented more than professional success. It was an opportunity to bring visibility and dignity to experiences rarely seen on television. Today, Dominique Jackson is admired as both an actress and an advocate. Her journey from homelessness to international recognition reflects extraordinary resilience. By sharing her voice and experiences, she has helped preserve important cultural history while inspiring others to embrace their authentic selves. While Dominique found strength through community and representation, Angelica Ross was building a path that would connect activism, technology, and entertainment. Angelica Ross was born in Wisconsin and faced rejection at a young age after expressing her identity openly. Without the support many teenagers rely upon, she entered adulthood carrying fear, uncertainty, and a deep need for stability. Financial hardship became part of daily life, and opportunities often seemed limited. Like many transgender women, she faced a world that offered little understanding and even less protection. Instead of surrendering to those obstacles, Angelica focused on building practical skills. She taught herself web design and technology while working to create a safer future. Progress came slowly, but she remained determined. In 2014, she founded TransTech Social Enterprises, an organization created to help LGBTQ+ people gain technology skills and improve employment opportunities. At the same time, she pursued acting and eventually earned national attention through performances in Pose and American Horror Story. Her growing success challenged stereotypes and showed that transgender women could succeed as performers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. More importantly, Angelica used her platform to advocate for inclusion, education, and economic independence. Today, Angelica Ross is respected as an actress, entrepreneur, and advocate. Her journey reflects resilience, self-reliance, and service to others. By turning personal hardship into meaningful action, she helped create pathways for people who had often been overlooked. While Angelica was creating change through technology and entertainment, Laverne Cox was transforming how millions of Americans viewed transgender representation on television. Laverne Cox was born in Alabama and spent much of her childhood feeling different from those around her. Growing up in a conservative environment, she often faced misunderstanding and bullying. Even at a young age, expressing herself authentically came with consequences. The pressure to conform created loneliness and self-doubt, feelings that many transgender people of her generation understood all too well. Despite those challenges, Laverne refused to abandon her dreams. She pursued the performing arts and gradually built a career in entertainment. Success did not arrive quickly. For years, meaningful opportunities for transgender actors were rare, and authentic representation was even rarer. Yet she continued moving forward. Her breakthrough came through the series Orange is the New Black, where her performance introduced millions of viewers to a transgender character portrayed with dignity and depth. The role earned widespread acclaim and helped bring transgender experiences into mainstream conversations. As her visibility increased, Laverne became a prominent advocate for equality, education, and understanding. She frequently used interviews and public appearances to encourage compassion while challenging harmful stereotypes. Today, Laverne Cox is recognized as one of the most influential transgender figures in modern entertainment. Her achievements opened doors for future performers and expanded public awareness across the country. More importantly, she demonstrated that authenticity and success do not have to exist in opposition. While Laverne was helping transform representation in American media, a younger generation was finding new ways to share their stories, and Yasmin Finney would soon become one of its brightest voices. Yasmin Finney was born in Manchester, England, and grew up in a working-class family. During her school years, she often felt isolated because of her identity. Bullying and misunderstanding became familiar experiences, making everyday life difficult. Like many young transgender people, she searched for a place where she could express herself freely. A place where she could be seen without fear of judgment. That sense of belonging began to emerge online. Through social media, Yasmin shared her experiences and connected with people who understood her journey. Her honesty resonated with a growing audience, and she gradually built a supportive community. A major turning point arrived when she was cast as Elle Argent in the Netflix series Heartstopper. The role introduced her to viewers around the world and earned widespread praise. More importantly, it offered young audiences a transgender character portrayed with warmth, dignity, and humanity. Yasmin's success came at a time when conversations about identity were reaching new generations, allowing her story to inspire people far beyond the entertainment industry. Today, Yasmin Finney represents hope, visibility, and the promise of continued progress. Her journey shows how authenticity can turn isolation into connection and fear into confidence. While each woman in this story followed a different path, all of them arrived at the same truth. Living honestly requires courage, but that courage has the power to change lives, communities, and even culture itself. If these stories teach us anything, it is that the greatest transformation is not a change in appearance. It is the courage to stop hiding and begin living as your authentic self. Aaron Rose, Philip, T.S. Madison, Janet Mock, Dominique Jackson, Angelica Ross, Laverne Cox, and Yasmin Finney faced different obstacles, yet each discovered the same truth. Inner peace begins when fear no longer controls your life. Their journeys remind us that progress is not measured only by fame or recognition. Sometimes the bravest act is choosing honesty in a world that expects conformity. That courage can inspire families, communities, and future generations. Of all the remarkable women featured today, whose courage and life story impressed you the most, and why? Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories from Hollywood's past and present. Until next time, thank you for watching Hollywood Trainer.